So what is the number one thing that you're happiest about your offensive line, and what's the one biggest concern?
Oh, I think there's been great development from the beginning to the end. Some of the guys, our biggest issue as coaches is this, is we don't like recoaching. Recoaching meaning, I told you to do it, now do it, I don't want to have to tell you to do it again the next day. Cure your mistakes, and if you make mistakes, make new mistakes, okay? Then we just fix that. But if you're refixing the same thing time and time and time again, we got issues because someone's either not coachable or not very smart. So what I'm saying is that's where I think I like this the best, is I think for the most part, our kids from the 1st to the 15th day ironed out a lot of the recoaching.
Last season, Joe Carriage got a lot of playing time. What has Huma done in the spring to kind of compete with him, and where do you see that competition at?
Oh, Sione, Huma is in the fold. Those two are battling out. Plus, you got to understand, we play with a move guy too, a U guy or tight end type. Funches, Jake Butt, those kinds of guys. Their skill set's similar. It's not exactly the same, it's similar. So they're all kind of competing for the right to be the lead blocker or the lead receiver on some certain play action passes for that. So they're all kind of in the fold. But Joe has been a pretty consistent in it, and he knows our offense pretty well. It's tough. It's unselfish, which is really probably the first prerequisite to playing fullback, is knowing that you're going to be, you know, running into a lot of people a lot. You're not going to be carrying the ball too much. So if you kind of buy into that, which Joe has and most of the other guys have, you got a chance.
You said multiple times this spring that the running backs really had to give them a big separation. Now the spring's over, did you see any?
Yeah, it's about the same. About the same. Nothing's really changed there. But that's not unusual. That's been for 3 springs. It's been like that. Here's your issue with running back, is in particular spring football and somewhat in fall football, but a little less in the fall. In spring football, you got 4 or 5 of them, right? And you got a 60-play scrimmage where you're going to run the ball about half the time, maybe a little bit more. Now do the math. When does a running back really get a chance to gain enough inertia to prove to you he can carry the ball 20 times? Now you could fire 4 of them and let him carry it every single time. But now you may be firing one of the guys that should be carrying it. So unless he makes bust for some long run or does something that everybody would notice, it's hard to really get a feel for who's the guy that should carry the ball all the time. Now in the fall, we're a little different. In the fall, because we're getting ready for football games, we'll feed a guy a little more in the scrimmages so that we know, okay. And I know in 2012, with Fitz, we went through about half a year and we said, well, we're going through this doggone running back through committee deal. And we finally decided, put him in there, leave him in there, let's go. And Fitz came to the surface. And I think Fitz will again before it's all said and done. So, you know, but what do you find out? You find out a little bit about whether you can win the open field, but is he the running back, the guy? Unless he's a phenom, that's hard to find out.
Do you think Fitz is the guy, even though he didn't participate in
He's certainly going to get a chance to prove it. I'll say that.
If you guys play today,
Who would it be? I wouldn't even commit to that yet. You know, Fitz being in the condition he's in and such, I wouldn't commit to it.
I know you're a Bill Walsh disciple, but Walsh liked to use static offenses on formations, and in the bowl game this year, I counted more than 40. Could that be right? More than 40 different formations and scrambling.
I counted them, but I'm not going to give you the number.
Okay.
Yeah, but Bill was a multiple formation guy too. Now Bill could run it anywhere from. Now you got to remember, in pro ball they only run about 63 to 65 plays. You run a little bit less than you do. Bill could throw 35, 40 formations at you in a minute. Yeah, he wasn't a big shift guy and all that.
But you're more of a shift guy. I mean, you're scrambling and stemming more.
Yeah, but that's really just. I hate to use the word camouflage, although that's a little bit of it. But it's more just that the defense can't always play with their cleats in front. You know what I mean? The defense would love you to have you just line up an I formation. Here we come. You know, and if you're really good, like USC used to be back in '06, you know, they could do it. But not very many teams can do that anymore. So you have to have enough variation within your offense, enough change of looks, without having to recreate a new offense every week. So you still have a core of plays that you can run from a multitude of different looks so that the defense doesn't get settled in all the time. That's kind of our philosophy.